Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome to my Hot and Sweets. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I wanted to come and do a wrap-up review of this season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, what they've shown us, what's been exposed, and what our assessments is of this season and these women, couples, in particular lives and what they're dealing with, right? So I'm gonna start with Mel. Mel is my favorite. I know a lot of y'all think that she fake, she phony, she feels she's more grandeur than what she really is, but I like her. To me, she comes off as just trying to be as authentic as possible, knowing what it is she wants, having no problem speaking that, But let me get into it. So, in this season, what I have seen with Mel and Martell is the roles have been flipped. Mel has checked out and she is planning her exit. When they had that discussion in the bedroom and he was talking about her stretching herself too thin, or it might have been in the office, and he was basically saying like, hey, we got this business over here, you're not investing in it, we're losing money, or whatever the case. Her response was, I'm doing my own things over here, basically like that's your problem. Right then is when I noticed and looked at it like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. She's checking out and building herself as an individual single businesswoman, doing things that's putting money into her pocket, and she's no longer investing in what they had together as a couple, and that's because she planned on exiting it. She don't care what happens with that business that they had. I believe it was also a way of her to show him like, you the one who needed me, you know what I'm saying, as far as the success of that business. And he's over here like trying to scrape to get her back, because now he's the one like, hey, you're not really spending any time with me, hey, I feel like I'm not receiving love from you, or that you want to be here. And that's because she's over him, and she is preparing herself to exit, which we know that ought to be true because she has divorced him now. But this season was her showing that, him trying to fight like, okay, I know I messed up, I want you back, I'm trying to be the best I can be with you, and then him feeling insecure about how she felt about him, and her going off doing her own thing, and her saying, no, I am about to distance myself from you, put my ducks in a row so I can go on about my business without you. So that's where she at. I agree, I commend her. She did her best to try and keep that marriage going. It did not work, and that's life, it happens. So then moving on with Kimmy and Maurice. A lot of people feel that Kimmy and Maurice is just like the best relationship on there. I don't see that. What I see is Kimmy has a few years on her chosen mate. She comes off to me, and what I've seen through her actions is she's I'm not gonna call her a pick me. I'm not gonna try and belittle that, but she takes me as one who is trying to do whatever she can to try and keep this man, keep him happy, play the role of this great wife so they can have minimal conflict and she can keep him, which is actually not good for a relationship. He has shown us, to me, in his actions, like, you want your son, you took your son from the mother and you want your son with you, but you're not actually the one sitting there raising him. You have left that back on Kimmy. And I believe that Kimmy has a bit of resentment and bitterness towards that. Like, no, look, my child is already grown. Your son was with his mother where you could still participate and be a father. And now you want to bring him into the household where I'm the one who have to play nanny and look after him. But she does not have the balls to just say these things to him because she don't want to rattle the fence. He takes advantage of that because, and his ego, he just wants the luxury of being able to say, I have custody of my son and my son lives with me. Although he's not actually being there one-on-one with his son and participating in that. And the raising of him is technically Kimmy who's doing it. The other issue that I see with him, because yeah, granted he studying for the bar and all that, but he did not have to leave out of town, leave the house and all of that to go study for the bar. Because they mentioned on there that he went to go get a hotel room just to be able to study, stand at the office late and things like that. I think that Kimmy, the saying, you lose them how you get them. I think that part of Kimmy is, if it is true that she was the mistress, that she fears that she might lose him. And I think her age difference, her being alone all that time, she have insecurities of just, I want to be able to keep a man, I want to have a man. So she surrendered to doing things possibly that wasn't the best. But now in the relationship, she's surrendering to accepting things that she does not actually like or want. And sooner or later, that's going to blow up. She's going to blow up because she's holding it all in and playing this role. And it's not going to work out in her best interest when you do that. Or his. Y'all think Maurice is so great? No, Maurice is egotistical, controlling. Y'all ain't peeping it. Now, Kimmy is allowing him to be controlling, but he runs the show and has control. And now everybody in his life gonna do what he wants. He's the king of this castle, and he got all his little ducks in a row. From the ex-wife and her husband, he the one controlling where they live, where they gonna be. The son, he controlling that Kimmy gonna have to be the one to look after him and be a mother, although her child is grown. And he's out doing whatever he want to do. He does everything for self-serving reasons, and then his way of keeping the control and manipulating others is, I'm doing this for the betterment of all of us. It's not a bad thing me trying to go to the bar. So of course, can we look at it like I would be wrong if I come and tell him like, well, no, you can't ask your son to come be here, live with us, and then you gone majority of the damn day. And I'm the one who has to cook his meals, help him with homework, look after him. And I think that when his son had came home, like in the last episode, and hugged him like that, he's there with Kimmy, who secretly resents the fact that he's there. I don't care what y'all say. You can love your stepchildren, you can care for them and not treat them bad, and still it be a presence, an energy, showing that you do not like the fact that this scenario is happening. So I had took that like that son probably there. This isn't his biological mother. He doesn't really have a relationship like that with her. Then her older son is here, who is evident he has his own issues against Maurice. But he stays in his place, or probably only shares that with his mother. That them two being in a home, familiar with each other, that's the son that she birthed. And then this child that does not belong to her being in a home that she resents being there, that son probably feels very, very alone being over there. Children pick up on energy. You do not have to be treating them bad or neglecting them or any of that for them to pick up the fact that, that there's bad energy, there's a problem here. So I feel bad for the son in there, but the father, you are affecting all of these different people's lives, and you don't care because it's to serve your own purpose, your own ego, and what you think is best and what you want, and it's just messed up. So y'all might not see that, but that's what I see between Kimmy and Maurice. Maurice is just as bad as these other husbands in his own way. He's selfish and controlling, and he's manipulative. And Kimmy is somewhat weak. She's a Tish, just in another way, just in a different way, a more hidden way. But she's a Tish her dang on self. She does not have a voice in that marriage or relationship, and her husband is the one who calls the shots and runs the show. So then when we skip over to Tish and Marshawn, Tish is a hot mess, right? Tish has, like I've been told y'all in the last video I did about them, she is trying to compete with male. She wants to be male. She's insecure. And that's who she is trying to model after, a male, right? Well, of course her husband can pick up on that. And I believe that her husband is embarrassed and tired of her antics and behavior, as far as her always playing victim and playing this helpless woman. I think for her husband, that's probably kind of draining and gets on his nerves. She's petty. She's being insecure and making moves out of that. I think for him, that's probably embarrassing and getting on his nerves. She's just all misguided. So I look at the fact when they was sitting in the bedroom and was having that conversation, and she started crying and all of that, which I personally feel she's making a big deal out of nothing. You know what side of the tracks your family come from. I personally, if I was having a conversation with my husband, and my husband said, I ain't trying to go over there where your family at, we from different sides of the track, and I just think, I will understand that, like, okay, cool, fine. If it's true, it's true. So that's how I look at it. I wouldn't have been offended or crying, but I look at the fact the minute that he called her on it, on that being a crybaby, and because what y'all looking at, y'all look at how manipulative Marshawn is. She's manipulative. She's being emotionally manipulative with the waterworks and the victim mentality. That's what that is used for, and she used that tactic on everyone, with her mom, with Kimmy, with everyone. Oh, I'm a victim, I'm helpless, you should be supporting me, and that's how she controls people to get what she wants, through tears and playing a victim, helpless mentality. So if we're tired of her, and we've been seeing it for 2 years, imagine how tired he got to be when he been living with it for 15 years. So the minute he called her on it and said, no, we're not about to do these waterworks and all of that, she immediately stopped. Like, okay, this game isn't going to work. She immediately stopped. So I just looked at that like, I think Marcel is just embarrassed by certain behaviors of hers, and that he's over certain antics of hers, and that's what we're seeing. I also think he be in and out of town going to Texas. That's where he's having his affair. His mistresses are probably in Texas or these places that he has to travel for business, for work. And if he constantly having to travel to one place, then it's probably a one set mistress that he's over there dealing with. The other things concerning him, Marcel can be condescending and trash as far as how he talks to her, ways that he think and things that he does, because I have noticed in a lot of instances he hasn't had her back like that. I think part of what the issue is he wants her to be something that she's not, but then at the same time he is turned off by the her that she's trying to be that she's not. You get what I'm trying to say? I think he's dissatisfied that she's not this particular way or person that he wants, and then he doesn't like the fact that she is trying to be something else that she's not, in a different direction that he's not interested in. So that happens in marriages. All marriages have hiccups and downfalls. No marriage is perfect, and that's why it's also sad and shocking that she keeps trying to take shots. Since last season, she was taking shots at Mel and Martell, but this season her marriage is unfolding. In glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Pretty much, that's what it boils down to. And I feel bad for her in some instances, but she still needs to find herself. She is, I don't know how old she is, but I believe she's like mid-30s, late 30s. She still needs to find herself. She has not found herself. And a lot of people be like, oh, he be talking to her like a child. It's because she be acting like a child. She has childlike characteristics and behaviors. So, of course, in that relationship, he has had to take on that position, that role of parenting her and treating her like a child. That might be another turnoff for him. Like, okay, you still haven't matured. We have been together 15 years and you still have this childlike mentality. Now, this is where therapy come in. Normally, when traumas happen while you are a child in your childhood, your growth can somewhat be stunted. They're really emotionally, mentally. Normally, it's all of the above. So, something traumatic may have happened to her in her childhood that has stunted her growth on an intellectual level. And also, you got to look at the fact, if he says she came from the other sides of the track, you live up to what your environment is and what your family and those around you project you to be. So there's no telling how her upbringing, her family, if they have only ever come to this far, then it's not impossible, because a lot of people do surpass their family and their environment, but for a lot, it puts a cap on them. That's where they are going to be stuck at, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, financially. That will be their cap as well. So I believe that it is somewhat of he possibly came and saved her, put her from out of there, and she is now trying to advance, but it's still not in a healthy, right way, because her advancement for herself is focused on trying to match up to what she sees as someone else, and not just my own personal goal of fulfilling and being the best that I can be. She's trying to be a male. That's never going to work for her, and of course her husband will resent her for it. What else did I want to mention about them? Oh, okay, now the situation with Marcel and Destiny. This is what I look at that. Destiny, when she came in, like, oh, she this bad boss bitch coming up, yeah, I want this done, I want it done by this date, and all of that. You making demands like you working with $1 million budget, and you only working with a $50,000 budget. And I think her lack of resources, she wanted to play up the beef that the Hawks had with the Scots, to be like, okay, if y'all focus on trying to outdo each other, my lack of funds for what I want don't really matter. But I looked at it as Marcel was like, girl, back, you ain't got $1 million budget. I'm not about to feed into your game of you benefiting by me trying to show the Scouts up, or them trying to show me up. Like, I got to sit here and kiss your ass and try and beg for this bid on this thing, when this isn't even, this is a penny of what I actually be doing, as far as the fact that, like I said, she's dealing with a 50, that's amateur stuff. So was he taking a dig at the Holtz? Yeah, because of course he already got beef with them. But I believe that the dig he made towards them was just strays. His digs was actually towards Destiny her damn self. Like, girl, I clocked what you call yourself doing, and I ain't got time for it. You are not on a grade or level to where you're going to be giving me unrealistic demands on when it should be done with your small-ass budget when I got bigger fish that I've been frying. No, we leave that with them, like, because she was trying to pit, like I said, them in a competition with the Hawks. And his whole thing is there is no competition. I'm not about to play this game with you, because this is what you got. The ego can make you ignore other stuff. His ego and what she tried to play was for his ego to be like, oh, okay, let me show that I'm better than the Scots. Okay, right, you only got $50,000. Oh, well, yeah, I am on national TV. I'm going to go ahead and just work with this small ass budget, do all this work that you can't even really afford for me to be doing anyway. And it's like, he was like, hell no, bitch, I'm not going to play that game with you. So I believe his dig was actually to Destiny. And it just went over some of y'all heads. His dig was to Destiny. The Hawks caught a couple of strays, and the way he worded his read of both of them could have been better. But that's what that situation read off to me. He wasn't coming to just try and attack the Hawks. He was technically sunning Destiny's ass. So, and I don't like her. I don't like her at all. Her energy, all that. I don't like her. It's like, boo boo, sit down some damn where. Sit down. But anyway, all four of these marriages of these people is on the rocks, and they need to be focused on their own individual selves and marriages instead of each other's and throwing strays like Kimmy. Kimmy say focus on her and her man, because right, she got her own problems with her and her man and in her marriage. The other two ladies, well, mainly more so Tish, needs to find that maturity and clue. Like, which it seems like she's doing it now. She's realizing it's not there. Oh, this was another thing I noticed for her when she was sitting at the table talking with her husband. You ask him certain questions about how he feels and what he wants or what he feels he lacks, and then you get mad at him for his responses. Women get on my nerves when doing that. And then they wonder why men turn around and then don't we want to talk to them, share with them, or say anything. And it's because when they do, they're now the bad guy, or, oh, you crazy. Why would you ask? Basically, what she did when they were sitting down at that table was ask him, "Here, what would you like to eat? I have made spaghetti, but what actually would you like to eat?" And then he said chicken, and then she was mad. What? You don't want the spaghetti? I'm like, sorry if y'all don't like that analogy. It was poor, a pathetic analogy, but that's basically sometimes what women do, and that's what she did sitting at the table. We're talking about them making time and what she don't want to occur and happen and stuff. When he gave her his honest of feelings, you can't turn around and personalizing it, and take it as an insult or take it as he's done something wrong against you. You ask him his feelings and thoughts, he gave them to you. Be a grown-ass woman and be mature, be able to handle it and say, oh, okay, I did not know that, thank you. I'm making a rain check of that so I can work on that, or we can work on this. Instead, she flipped it and got in her feelings about it, start playing the emotional manipulative game. And that's why I'm over her butt. What I did pay attention to when they were sitting there talking, and she was like, I don't want us to end up like a male, or you end up another woman come into play. Another woman already there. When you seen his face and read his face, he like, girl, you too late for that. But okay. I personally believe his chick that he's messing with is out in Texas, and I believe that he's over her in a lot of ways. And hopefully she'll be able to manage that, and they can rekindle their love and affections for each other, and everything will work out, hopefully. But that's my thoughts about this season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Give me you guys' thoughts. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.